How do you pronounce your first name?
My first name is pronounced Raissa. The R is
Haisa. Very,
silent.
very pleased to meet you, Haisa.
Nice to meet you too. Hi everyone. Thanks for joining. Seeing everyone joining here. Yeah, it's great to have you here today. This will be an insightful conversation with Mary Patterson, the Director of Technology from EnPower. My name is Raissa. I'm a project director at the Battery Forum, and I'll be moderating the chat today. So, Mary, thanks for joining us. We can start a conversation today by getting to know a little bit about EnPower. Mary, can you tell us how is EnPower revolutionizing the battery industry?
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Haisa, and thank you also to the Volta Foundation for giving me the opportunity to talk about EnPower's multi-layer electrode technology today. So here at EnPower, we feel like we're mobilizing the secure supply of high-performance lithium-ion batteries for non-EV applications domestically with United States manufacturing, a United States bill of materials, and also United States-based technology. So EnPower builds lithium-ion cells with multi-layer electrode technology. And the key is that the cells that are produced have both high energy density and high power density. So if you think about it, with single layer technology, you get lithium-ion cells that either have high energy density or high power density, but usually not both. And this is due to fundamental limitations at a material level. So just going to back up here, talk about a couple of materials. I'm sure everybody's familiar with LFP, lithium iron phosphate. It's known as material with good power density. LFP has an olivine structure. The lithium ions, when there's charge and discharge happening, go through basically a one-dimensional tunnel in and out of that olivine structure. So the power capability is quite good. However, the iron phosphate structure takes up a lot of the space in that material. So there's not a lot of room for lithium ions. So that results in the low energy density. Now, to contrast, a material like LCO has a layered structure. And so with that structure, there's more room for the lithium ions, so you get better energy density. But when it comes to charge and discharge, those ions aren't going through a 1D tunnel. It's a layer, it's two-dimensional, and you don't get as fast transport of those lithium ions in and out. So LFP, good power density, lower energy density. LCO, just the opposite. If you have a single layer electrode, you get what you get with the fundamental materials properties. However, with multi-layer electrodes, you can have different materials in the layers. You can have different particle size distributions. You can have different porosity distributions. You can use different binders and binder amounts, different carbon conductive materials and amounts. So you can switch all this up to really tailor and tune the properties that you're looking for. So just wanted to say for the multi-layer technology, you get higher energy and power density simultaneously because there's better transport, better conductivity, better kinetics that the multi-layer electrodes allow. But you also get other benefits, characteristics such as lower heat generation, lower DCIR, longer cycle life. So that, in a kind of a big nutshell, is what we're doing at EnPower to mobilize lithium-ion batteries.
Wow, thanks for the detailed explanation. That was very helpful for who is starting to learn about the multi-layer technology. What types of applications or end users is EnPower primarily focused on serving with this multi-layer electrode technology?
Sure. So we believe that the benefits of multi-layer electrodes and the cells that are produced from them can be realized across like a broad number of industries. But we're small, we have to start somewhere. So we're being very strategic and very purposeful about how we're approaching the electrode and battery markets. And the three markets that we have identified for right now are uncrewed vehicles, power tools, and defense applications. And so we have sampled cells to OEMs in these markets, and the OEMs are testing our cells at their locations, and they are confirming what our testing has already told us, and that is that lithium-ion cells with the multi-layer electrodes have high energy and power densities. They also have lower DCIR, lower heat generation. Now, this is really important. We all know that heat is the enemy of lithium-ion batteries. If they get too warm, there's faster degradation, lower cycle life, and in extreme cases, it can also be a safety concern. So lower heat generation is very important from that aspect. It's also important from another aspect, and that is that of thermal management systems. So thermal management systems cost money, they take up space, they have mass, they add complexity to the design and manufacturing. If you have a liquid-cooled system, it's complex, it's heavy. There are systems that need liquid-cooled systems. If you go down a notch, you have air-cooled systems, fans blowing air through. And then, of course, what everybody would really like to have is just a passive system where you might have a heat sink or you don't really need anything at all. So as you lower your heat generation, it really lowers the requirement of that thermal management system. If you previously needed liquid-cooled, maybe you can go to air-cooled. If you previously needed air-cooled, maybe you can go to passive. So that is just another side benefit of this multi-layer electrode technology.
Yeah, yeah, that's impressive how the multi-layer can solve so many issues and trade-offs at the same time. Um, yeah, what are the quality requirements that EnPower customers typically specify for the multi-layer technologies, and how does your team ensure that those standards are being met?
Sure. So I believe that customers don't really have a preference for multi-layer electrodes in their cells, but they do have requirements and preferences for the cell, that the cell will perform to their expectations and to their requirements. So internally, the burden is on us to have strict quality control standards for the multi-layer electrodes as well as the full cell quality. So we do have a quality management system. We use a 7-phase product development process, lifecycle management process, called the PDLM. Gate reviews between phases. We follow APQP, which is Advanced Product Quality Planning. There's a lot of documentation that goes along with these systems. And the documentation is not just for documentation's sake, it's really to force you to understand your product better, your materials, your processes. Just a lot of really good things fall out of doing the required documentation. So some of the documents that we work on are things like customer and product requirements, DFMEAs, the design failure modes effect and analysis documents, DVPNRs, design validation plan and report. So like I said, there's just a lot that goes into a quality system, and it's all essential. I mean, it's all there for the learning and to really understand your product.
Yeah, it's definitely a complex process and also requires the traceability of all the process and the data from
Exactly.
each customer will help to troubleshoot if you have any issues, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, since it's such a complex technology and process, what type of expertise does EnPower team bring to the table to develop this technology and manufacture high quality multi-layer electrodes?
Yeah, great question. So EnPower has an electrode first philosophy. That is our superpower, is the multi-layer electrodes. We are, for as far as product development is concerned, we're split into 3 different groups. We have a technology group, a product group, and a manufacturing group. And of course, we need all three groups working together to produce a lithium-ion cell that meets our end customer requirements. Let me talk about the technology group first. So that's where it all begins. That's where new materials and processes are assessed. That's where multi-layer electrode research happens. And it's also where concept validation and documentation occurs. So if you look at automotive and even outside of automotive product levels, our technology group produces the A-level product. So it's a concept validation. You could call it a prototype. It's an A-level product. Next is the product group, and this is where cell design occurs and multi-layer electrode development. And so in the product group, that's where design validation and documentation occurs. And you can look at that like it's the B-level product. It's design validated. By the time the product group is done with design validation and documentation, then we have a design freeze and we go into engineering revision control. The manufacturing group is responsible, of course, for production equipment, production processes, and mass production. So the process validation and documentation is the C-level product. And then when you go into routine mass production, that run at rate, that's the D-level product. So all those three groups work together, hand in glove, and everybody, it's a small company, everybody knows each other, everybody talks to each other. We do Gemba walks every morning to see what's going on in various parts of the factory. And it's just a very nice environment. All the groups talk to each other. People cooperate really well. It really helps the development of the product. As far as expertise that's needed, we have chemical engineers, electrochemists, mechanical engineers. We have quality engineering. We have a lot of, did I say chemical engineers? Because we've got a lot of them. They're great. And then, of course, when you go outside of the groups I'm talking about, we've got supply chain people, EHS, facilities, HR, finance, accounts payable, receivable, logistics, shipping, receiving. There's just so much when you get into proper manufacturing. You have all these support groups that are helping. They're just vital to the process to getting product out the door. So we have a lot of people with great expertise. We have people in our department, bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, PhDs. Colleges, Indiana has really great colleges. I'm thinking of Purdue, Indiana University. Of course, we're close to Illinois, so Northwestern, we're close to Ohio, Case Western Reserve University. We have a great team here. Really smart people, teamwork-oriented people. And so it's a really great work environment. So I hope that kind of conveyed what I'm trying to say here. We have product development. We have a lot of great people. We'll talk about infrastructure in a little while as well.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we're starting to get to the end of our questions related to EnPower's technologies and what it has to offer. And then we're going to move on more focused on the development as a startup, right, in the US. What are the next frontiers for EnPower's technology? Are there new chemistries, formats, or technologies, applications, and also markets that you see the biggest opportunities for growth and impact?
Right. So continuous improvement, right? So improvements are guided by first and foremost customer feedback because we can make the best cell in the world, but ultimately we want to put it into the hands of a customer. So customer feedback is key. We also have an internal technology roadmap. It's a living document. It is revised all the time based on customer feedback. And then we also have our internal continuous improvement. So that's how we get our improvements. Now, next generation cells. Our Gen 1 cell, the Gen 1 chemistry is defined, and we are validating those cells right now. We have a 5 amp hour cell and a 9 amp hour cell. The 5 amp hour cell is our IP1 cell. The 9 amp hour cell is our IP1S cell. They are pouch cells, top terminals. For the next generation, it's really to be determined depending on our customer requirements. We're already doing technology development for next generation, but that will gel and come together better as we get more customer feedback. So we are exploring and optimizing next gen chemistries. We're also expanding the number of pouch cell the form factors. Right now we have 2 different form factors. But obviously customers might want a different form factor. And we also would like to expand into new markets, any market that values a high performing cell, high performing battery.
Oh, what are those 2 different form factors you mentioned?
Okay, so the 5 amp hour cell is approximately 60 by 105 millimeters, about 5 point something millimeters wide, thick, I should say. The 9 amp hour cell is about 60 by 140 millimeters, and it is about 6.4 millimeters thick. So that's our 2 form factors right now.
Awesome. And their applications currently, are they, what are current customers for those types of form factors?
Right. So, like I said before, like uncrewed vehicles, drones is a
Yeah,
big one. Power tools fits right in, and then also some defense applications as well.
thank you. Yeah, what were the major challenges that EnPower faced as a startup, right? When you're talking about development as a startup, did you have major challenges when you're going from lab prototype to a manufacturing multi-layer electrode? And how did you approach overcoming that challenge?
Yeah, this is absolutely key. So the chasm between technology and manufacturing is huge. EnPower was based in Phoenix for 2.5 years, and that was a pilot facility. And in Phoenix, we worked to validate the technology, worked with OEMs to prove that the multi-layer electrode technology really does work, really does deliver the benefits that we've been talking about, and that it works consistently to deliver those benefits. At that point, EnPower needed to acquire a manufacturing facility because there's only so far that a pilot line can take you. So for the last 3 years, EnPower has been in Indianapolis. We're located in the Castleton area of Indianapolis on Hague Road, and it is about 90-something thousand square foot facility. We have office space, we have factory space. The factory space has room for R&D and pilot and mass production. We also have a sizable production dry room and a smaller R&D dry room. So this building was actually built for lithium-ion cell battery development and relocated here after a former battery company had moved out. So acquiring this Hague Road facility was absolutely key to make that jump into manufacturing. And as you alluded to, just doing all the work that's required to run at rate, be mass production, it's difficult. It's a challenge. You need the right people. I've already talked about people. We need engineers in so many different disciplines. We need production technicians that are trained. We need a robust safety program. And of course, everybody has training. Like no matter what job you have or what your background is, there's set training that you take to get everyone on the same page. We're very fortunate in that Indiana has a really good workforce. So we have a long tradition in Indiana of automotive manufacturing, as well as pharmaceutical manufacturing and biotech. So we do have a very good workforce. People are the most important thing in the company, and we are fortunate to have such great people and also be located in an area, where there is a lot of excellence in the workforce. I was going to talk about infrastructure for a minute. I already alluded to a lot of the details about the Hague Road facility. There are very large mixers. There are very large coaters. The mixers and coaters are set up for separate anode and cathode development and production. Very large dry room, plenty of space for production. And we have a lot of formation channels as well. And even things like that you wouldn't normally consider, maybe even things like shipping, receiving. We have bays that trucks can back up into, and we have a bay you can drive into. This facility just really was just ready, completely ready for us to move in and get started. So I did mention the quality management system. That's really important when it comes to scale up. We do use the PDLM, and a manufacturing information system is really important. You alluded to traceability. You have to have traceability, and the MIS provides that. One last thing I'd like to mention about scale up is that when you're doing small R&D, you don't have to worry about it. When you scale up, you do have to worry about regulatory requirements. The one that most people are familiar with is UN 38.3. It's the testing that you need to pass so that you can easily ship your cells. Packaging is important. That also has to be UN approved. You have to generate a safety data sheet, an SDS. That's something that you have to be able to supply to your customers. There's labeling requirements, there's marking requirements. And of course, in a factory, there's permitting requirements. You don't want to, for example, release solvent into the air. You don't want to release dirty water into drainage. So there's local permitting that has to happen too. So making that jump, from R&D up to manufacturing, it takes a lot of people, time, money, infrastructure. It takes a lot. It's a lot of work. It's totally worth it. If you follow a process, it's absolutely doable.
Yeah, sounds like the infrastructure takes a heavier weight on the process, right?
Absolutely.
You measure for installation. Thank you. What are the common pitfalls for startups looking to find product market fit with customers in the battery industry? In Power's case, what obstacles did you face when integrating your technology with a customer's chemistry design requirements?
Right. So I think the most common pitfall is the philosophy of build it and the customers will come. Even if you have de-risked your technology, even if you've proved that it works, and even if you've implemented at scale, you still need to find the right markets and the right customers. You want to find that customer who really cares, who wants your technology, who accepts your value proposition. Another pitfall, I think, is chasing all opportunities. It just spreads people too thin, and it's not doable. You need to focus on your markets and your potential customers and stick to that, and things just go a lot better because you have the wherewithal to do it. Another important thing is connecting product and process engineering. A long time ago when the earth was new, something was designed and then it was thrown over the wall for manufacturing. It can't be like that. Technology, product, and manufacturing have to work together. If you don't, it's just, asking for a problem. Common obstacles, I think the biggest obstacle is finding the correct market and establishing a dialogue with potential customers. Once you've built that customer trust and they trust you enough to give you valuable feedback, then you get that feedback loop that you absolutely need to make the product that the customer wants. Another challenge is you usually have to fit into an existing product design. There are very few manufacturers who think of battery first. Take a drone, for example. They're very excited about the propulsion system and how lightweight they can make it and how fast it can go, and the battery is sometimes an afterthought in these systems. So you need to fit into an existing space claim, and you need to fit into an existing voltage range, for example. So that is a challenge. challenges around, like I said, cell dimensions, space claims, customizations of the pouch form factor, and just does your chemistry match up into a voltage range and deliver the power, that they are looking for. I want to talk a minute about solutions, though, because EnPower has been really successful, I think, in engaging potential customers very early in the technology development process. So this allowed us to collect market data across industries and use the data in our technology and product development. And it enabled us to discover where our scale and our product fits into the global battery market. The global battery market is huge. And each one of these markets that I'm talking about are billions of dollars with a B every single year. So you don't need a really big slice of one of those markets, to have a successful product and run a successful business. But you really need to find customers who care about your product. They're at the same scale that you are, and you need customers that just accept your value proposition and will pay the cost for high performing cells. I will note that EnPower entertained early on the automotive EV market, that found that that market is too big, the OEMs are too huge, and the scale just did not match up. So EnPower's focus right now is on slightly smaller markets, but markets that value performance, flexibility, and domestic engineering and manufacturing.
Right. Thank you. Thank you for the thorough answer.
Thank you.
Finally, what's your advice for the startups trying to build a company like EnPower in the US?
I'm
What
going
will
to
be
start
your
that.
your main advice?
Sorry, I was going to start that. I wanted to hop right in with a disclaimer because I have never started a company. I've worked for several small startups, but I've
Yeah.
never started one myself. So take my advice with that in mind. But I
Yeah.
think it is very important to engage potential customers very early in the technology development process, so you have better targets and better goals. So to me, the first step would be collecting the marketing information and choose your initial target markets. And then within that market, collect customer information and choose who your initial potential customers might be. Then, if you can establish a dialogue, you can collect that voice of customer information and find out, does your product fit? And, rarely would the answer be yes right off first try. So then you need to iterate, you need to pivot, you have to have some level of technological pragmatism. And what that means is, like, don't be so married to your product that you're not going to change it. Like, be flexible, be open to change. Another recommendation we talked about before is be strategic and don't chase every opportunity. You'll just spread yourself too thin. A business plan does need to be established, and you do need to be realistic about people, resources, infrastructure, how much money things cost, how much time. I mean, duration is a big thing. Strategic growth is important. Organic growth is better. And by that, I just mean that you add people and areas as you need it, if possible, because it's difficult or impossible to go from zero to like huge gigawatt factory all at once. It's just that it's too big of a step to make all at once. I will say this Hague Road facility is a megawatt factory. We are not a gigawatt factory. So it's a very good scale for us. Lastly, establish a product development plan. I think that goes kind of hand in hand with the business development plan. And really, lastly, I think every company would have to decide for themselves when to make the leap from R&D to manufacturing, or R&D to pilot, pilot to manufacturing. And to me, the business plan will guide when that should happen. So I'll say my disclaimer again, I have never started a business, but working for several small companies, I feel like it's okay advice.
Yeah, that was great advice.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I feel like chats like this really, really help guiding people there trying to build their own startup and also develop their own technology. Yeah, thank you uh, for answering my questions. You probably have a few more questions now that we are going to open for the audience to join. If anyone, I see that someone commented in the chat that they have questions, please feel free to unmute yourself and go ahead and make your question.
Can I have a go?
Yeah.
Oh, hi, everybody. Adam Black. Nice to meet you, Mary. Thank you for the presentation.
Nice to meet
Hello,
you.
everybody. Brief introduction. Cycling Batteries Corporation makes the safest, fastest charging e-bike batteries in the world, 48 volt, 36. We're pre-finance. We are interested in talking to anybody out there who's listening, who makes cells that charge above 4C and are safe, especially if they're made outside of China. That's very interesting. We are also interested in partners, and I understood that this meeting was all about partnerships. We are ready to do demonstration projects and are looking for anybody who is also doing demonstration projects, literally anywhere in the world, that we can partner up with to demonstrate super fast charging. In one word, what we do is change e-bike batteries into cell phones, in as much as from now into the future, this bullshit 4-hour, 6-hour charging rubbish will no longer exist. You'll be charging your e-bike batteries in Starbucks just the way you charge your cell phone. That's what we're doing. Pretty revolutionary. Looking for partners. Please get in touch. Adam Black. You can find me on LinkedIn, Cycling Batteries Corporation. Mary, I've already connected with you. We'll talk.
Oh, thank you. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. I do see a question on the chat from Ben. Can you talk about the importance of yield focus from even prototype stages while scaling?
Oh, what was the first part of that?
Can you talk about the importance of yield focus from even prototype stages?
The focus?
Yield focus.
Oh,
yeah,
yield
Ben,
focus.
feel free to also ask.
Yeah, sorry. Mary, great to see you, by the way.
Hi, Ben. Yeah, good to see you too.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was just wondering, I mean, and I know this is not a surprise to you, but I think for the others, that are listening in, and this has, been a struggle in the US, I think, and frankly, I view you as a savant and a leader in this area from even, previous days together, was to talk about the importance of yield from even the prototype stages. I think a lot of people just focus on getting like one of something that works and not realizing that one of something that works may be an outlier that you can't repeat versus true yield that's building a true scalable product. So long-winded to that question.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, that's very important. When people are in the lab and making a device, it's not right to just cherry pick the one that works. You really have to make a lot of devices, figure out what your tolerances are, figure out, and like mechanical tolerances, percent active materials tolerances, just establish all the tolerances, figure out, everybody's got their own cell design sheet or cell model, whatever you want to call it. Pop those values into your cell design sheet or your cell model, and that should give you your true tolerances for like minimum capacity and maximum capacity, other tolerances too, but let's just use capacity. And every cell that you build then, when you're in pilot line or mass production, should fall into those tolerances. It should be a normal distribution. If you're not getting those values, then something's wrong. So you're absolutely correct. You can't cherry pick. It can't be, oh, this is the best one, so I'm going to talk about this best one. The hard part is running at rate and getting mass production working to the point where you have that nice normal distribution. Absolutely. Yep. Totally agree with you there. Did that address what your concern was? Okay. Thank you, Ben. Okay.
Thank you for your question. I see Jens has his hand raised.
Yeah, I do. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Mary. It was super insightful. What I understood is you are Is your long-term goal to sell cells that you make, or is the long-term
Yes.
goal to? Okay, that's
Keep
an
going.
interesting.
There's probably more.
Yeah. My question is, why not focus on just selling the multi-layer electrodes and deal somebody else with the CapEx and the
We
low
do
margins?
also a toll coating business. We do.
Oh,
We have made electrodes for companies as well. So that is something that our chief commercial officer has a great deal of input to. So if somebody's interested in toll coating, yeah, please just visit our website. You know, it's EnPower Inc, EnPower Inc.com. And you can put the information in there and our chief commercial officer will get in touch with you. We are electrode first. We are electrode centric. Yes.
Yeah, but it seems like you make the conscious decision to like sell and demonstrate on your own cells. Can I ask why? How that decision was made?
So I feel like we have an awful lot of experience in cell design. Also, I think people here maybe know that, I mean, as you go up the value chain, you actually have like a larger profit margin, you know, so.
Sure.
You know, I'm not the money guy, but yeah, the farther up you go in battery supply chain, you get more profit margin. So
I see.
but
I see.
we feel like we can design a good cell and produce a good cell. So we are doing that. Now, will we ever make modules and packs? Unclear. Right now, no. In the future, maybe not. We'll see.
Awesome.
Once
Thank you.
again, we're a small company and you got to start somewhere, you know, so can't do everything all at once.
Yeah, that's actually why I'm impressed you're going straight to cells instead of like partnering with somebody and have them build up all that expertise that's needed to make cells with a decent yield.
Understood.
Thanks, Jens. See that Michael has his hands raised also. I have a question, Michael.
Yeah, Mary, thank you so much. This is Michael Regula from Berla Carbon. When I think about electrode manufacturing, I kind of think about that being challenging in its own right. And I can only assume that kind of multi-layer electrode manufacturing itself has kind of additional challenges.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of think about it from a formulation perspective. Are there any unique formulation challenges that you all have because of the multi-layer aspect of your manufacturing?
Yes. I don't know what else to say about that. But you can imagine, you know, slurry, viscosities, rheological properties, special slot dyes. Yeah, there's a lot encompassed in there. And we do have an amazing coding team. We have our coding engineers have a lot of industrial experience in lithium-ion battery. So all that helps. But the very short answer is yes. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah, there's, again, you're kind of working with also multiple different formulations, and then each requiring certain levels or certain viscosity. Maybe you're trying to match viscosities or what have you. But I can definitely see there being unique challenges there.
Yep, and we do wet on wet coating, right? There's different ways that you can do this. And so if I was an academician in a lab, maybe I would do a wet on dry coating, but no, we're doing wet on wet coating. Yep.
Yeah. Appreciate perspective.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Thanks for the question.
Nope. That's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael, for your question. Just a comment on that. There are different types of multi-layer coating, right? EnPower use a slot die, right? And the multi-layers that you coat are 3 layers you mentioned?
We can do dual layer and tri-layer. Yep.
Tri-layer and dual layer. Yeah, that definitely requires a lot of expertise on the coating process and mixing process.
Yes. Yep. Agreed.
Thanks. Jordan also has a question.
Very quickly, thank you so much for the excellent talk, Mary.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciated the holistic approach that you brought to the business. And I think that ties in nicely with the panel discussion earlier about a systems way of thinking. Based on the fact that you kind of have this holistic approach, do you think there are any lessons from other industry sectors that the battery industry could look to in how they go about doing their business that maybe we haven't really been paying attention to?
Wow, I had not really thought about that. Can I throw that question back at you? Do you have any thoughts about this? Because I mean, it's new to me. I really have to think about it.
Yeah, sorry for asking such a
Oh no, you're
fun
fine.
question
It's a
at the
great
end of the talk.
question.
So I'm still in an earlier stage of my career, but I've worked in technical consulting. I actually used to work for Exponent, the company that
Oh yeah,
Laura,
Exponent's
the keynote
really
speaker,
good.
was part
Great
of. Yeah.
company.
And that really kind of hit home, I think, the importance of cross-functional teams, of interdisciplinary work, but then also I like to think of it as products, profits, and people. So you need to have, of course, technology, but if you don't have a good business model, it's worthless. It's better to have an excellent business model and a mediocre product that is, of course, low grade but high quality. And then lastly, your team really needs to be what people put their confidence in. Your angel investors, your customers, it's really down to the people at the end of the day because they make the products and they're responsible for the profits. So I've just seen that companies that kind of have a 360-degree approach and that kind of think in a management consulting kind of approach, a strategic approach, those seem to be the ones that fare the most, and their resilience seems to be agnostic of the tempest they might find themselves in. So they're looking ahead, they're looking at various different things, not just the technology. They're not a one-trick pony. And they hire people who are not one-trick ponies, or they are one-trick ponies, but they're willing to work in a circus. Bad analogy, but you get the idea. So they're willing to work with other people. Children's book I love, you may be familiar with it, is The King with Six Friends. Came out in the 50s, I think, but it's a story about a king who befriends a bunch of different people and enlists the help of a bunch of different people, each one with unique skills and strengths, and they all deploy their strengths in a synergistic sense, if you will. That wasn't a term that existed in the 50s, but yeah. So I think understanding that the sum of the parts is greater than the individual components, I think that's a really important aspect. So I've done a lot of the talking. I apologize. I'll pass the ball back to you.
Oh no, you're fine. I totally agree with you. I think so back in the day, I think the term was individual contributor. I think the days of the individual contributor are over, completely over. Now it's all about, of course, cooperation, teamwork. And I would really have to think about your question. It's a really deep, good question. It just talks to the interdisciplinary nature of a business like this. And there's probably other businesses that are also similarly interdisciplinary, but I'd have to think about it. But yeah, it's a great point. Thank you for your question.
Of course, I'll connect with you on LinkedIn.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks, Jordan. Thanks so much, Mary. Does anyone have any more questions? We're getting to the end of the breakout room. It was such an insightful conversation with Mary about EnPower's technology and products.
Thank you so
Thank you so
much.
much also for sharing about the development process, the development development pitfalls, challenges that EnPower had, and answer all the questions that we had also. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a pleasure. Lots of fun. Thank you, Mary.